The notion of government efficiency is a veil, is a ruse, is a getaway car for Elon Musk's robbery of the American people. Now, Elon Musk has benefited from a good deal of propaganda about him being a man of science and technology, and this was helped by the Iron Man movies that were made that supposedly were about him and his entrepreneurship, his rocket building, his supposed genius. But government efficiency is a pseudoscience dress up for the longer term concern of government watchdogs, mostly from the right, but not only from the right, about government waste, fraud, and abuse, which are recognized issues and problems within government, but which the Trump administration has gutted all of the safeguards that have been built up over time, as well as there have been other actions by other administrations, but particularly radically by Trump. But in any case, the whole idea is that this Department of Government Efficiency is supposedly a supercharged way to look at these things. Meanwhile, however, it's become just an arbitrary tool of a plutocratic capture of government. One of the ways that Elon Musk has fooled people is by hiding behind some cutesy memes. For instance, the Doge coin. This is a picture of the dog that is supposedly the symbol of this coin. And this is a gambling instrument. All cryptocurrencies are essentially gambling, speculative instruments, not currencies. But there's an effort to hide their destructive, both environmentally and also socially destructive aspects behind cutesy ideas and cutesy memes. Now, the word efficiency is supposed to lend some kind of prestige and insight into what Musk is doing, his robbery of government and his takeover, his putsch. There are useful uses of the concept of efficiency within applied science. It's not an objective science characteristic. It's not a part of nature. It's a part of the instruments that humans build for to do certain work that they want done. So useful energy output over total energy input times 100 equals your efficiency of a particular process. But it requires people to have determined what is their purpose. And for certain objects that are very simple, like a car and so forth and so on, you want to go forward, you want to have a payload where your luggage or whatever it is you're trying to bring in, your groceries. And so that would be the useful part of that car, but that's built for that very specific task. Meanwhile, government is much, much more complicated. So the pseudo-objective idea about efficiency is, even when you look at a business, which is not as complex as government, in a business, if you could look at at least three different aspects of what would be efficient for a business to achieve a certain goal. So there's costs, lowering costs, either maintaining or raising quality, and increasing speed. So all of these things can be played around with. You're not going to get to zero costs. You're not going to get to 100% quality or whatever, however that's defined. That's also a subjective thing. And speed, you're never going to get to 0 seconds for speed. So all of these things need to be balanced based on the judgment of the leaders of a particular business. Now, I created this chart to sort of give you a sense of the size of what is efficiency, or if you were looking at government as needing to be efficient or more efficient, what would be the things that you need to take into account? And these are things that are nowhere near what Musk is capable of taking into account or understanding right now. So cost going down. This is also a complex topic. The federal government, costs for the federal government are different than costs for a business and costs for a local and state government. And then we have speed. How fast can the government execute some task for the American people or for whatever project that's be undertaking? Quality, again, these are taken from the business context. But then we have safety. So overall public safety, the government is supposed to create public safety, is supposed to maintain public safety. Solidarity, social solidarity. This is something that falls out completely in the manuals of mostly the right wing, though there are some parts of it that understand that we need social solidarity. But in the tech bro, universe that Musk and the oligarchs are coming from, social solidarity is something that they don't really intuitively understand, and they just value at zero. And also freedom. Freedom is something that supposedly the right wing and supposedly these oligarchs care about, at least for themselves. They don't care about it for other people. They're extremely egocentric people. But anyway, all of these things are aspects of what a government needs to balance and figure out in any initiative it takes. And so this is, effectiveness is probably a better way to talk about this than efficiency. But Musk is, in a cunning and devious way, using his concept of efficiency, which is really just his arbitrary decisions about what he likes and doesn't like, to unite with other factions within the Republican universe who all want to cut government. They all are or parts of government, certainly the parts of government that don't serve them or their ultra-rich donors. And there's a long and stupid tradition within the Republican Party, but that has infected the Democratic Party, of valuing the contributions of government, the roles of government, all of those things that were in that chart plus that I just created at zero. Because here Ronald Reagan is saying the most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." So this is kind of the mythology of government not being really required, and that one simply needed to substitute a private enterprise for government, which is basically the current Yarvin Musk coup that is happening right now, saying we need a corporate CEO, privatize everything and abolish essentially government, or at least make the functions of government subservient to the interest of the ultra rich. And here we have Grover Norquist, who's supposedly a taxpayer advocate, who basically also is of the type of person who values the services of government at almost zero, or certainly divides them up into things that support the right-wing base that are like military spending, and then things that are helping the population as a whole, and also some of the Democratic base, which are things they value at zero. And since Reagan, the Democrats have been extremely weak proponents of government and have portrayed government as essentially a flawed vessel for the aspirations of the American people, and that therefore, when needed to do things like end welfare, so forth and so on, that these were all programs that were inherently bad and wrong. They were accepting what Reagan had, claimed in his presidency. Now, during the Clinton administration, there was an effort to quote unquote increase government efficiency, which was, did some innovative things. There is nothing wrong in trying to improve government and make it work better for the people. But what that requires one first to have this ethical obligation of public service, which Donald Trump doesn't have, Musk doesn't have. They do not want to serve the public. They will only claim to serve the public in a mendacious, in a lying way. They will say things just to get people off their backs, but really they are about undermining the whole concept of public service. So I think opponents of what is going on this coup need to be emphasizing that government is essential. We can improve government, but we sometimes need more of government, not less, in many areas. And this idea that we only need less government is totally ignorant of all the functions of government, and also the fact that many of these people have profited mightily from those provisions of government, but they now want to just throw that away now that they have their billions.